Here's why most entrepreneurs fail at delegation and what you can do instead. I believe the single most important skill you can learn as an entrepreneur is delegation. Delegation is really your ability to clone yourself. And if you've ever heard anybody who's growing a business, their number one wish is, oh gosh, I wish I could just clone myself. What's nice about delegation is it puts you in a position of growing without needing to draw from your most limited resource, which is your time and attention. The issue with delegation is it's hard. It's hard to learn. It's a discipline that can be difficult to adhere to. Even when you know the rules, you don't always follow them. One of the experiences I've had in coaching people with delegation, which I tend to do a lot of because I own a staffing agency, people have the bad habit of dumping, not delegating. And they don't even necessarily know the difference. Delegation requires three really important things. It requires a well-defined input, well-defined output, and autonomy. So here's what that means specifically. If I'm going to delegate a project to you, I'm going to tell you, this is everything available to you from a resource perspective. Here are all the people, key stakeholders. Here's the amount of money I'm willing to spend. Here's the software available to you. Here are the brand guidelines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is everything that you have to use at your disposal. This is the input. This is what I'd like to see, the defined outcome. I want to see a training program for all new employees, or I want my email inbox to be cleaned up, categorized, and put me at inbox 0, or I want a new website, or I want to, whatever it is, I have a well-defined output. This is what success looks like. Input, output, and then autonomy. Meaning, beyond the input and the output, you don't intervene. And I call that the black box of delegation. It's a black box because what happens in the box is none of your damn business. You tell them what can go in the box. You tell them what you'd like to see come out of the box. And how they do the work, when they do the work, why they do the work, where they do the works, does not matter. Here's what most people do. Most people realize, oh gosh, I have this thing I need to do. I need a new website, or I need a clean inbox, or I need a new program or process or training or whatever. And then they say, you, person who's closest to me in the moment that I realize I need this thing, do me a favor and go clean my inbox. And then they go and they do the best they can at cleaning your inbox, but you haven't defined the input, and more importantly, you haven't defined what constitutes a successful output. And so they don't do it the way that you would do it, which to you means they don't do it well, or they don't do it perfectly. That's dumping. That's really what you're doing. What you're looking for is you're trying to find somebody else to blame. More often than not, that's been my experience, is they just want to abdicate the responsibility. Because if you wanted to get the job done, the task done, the project done, then you'd spend the time it would take to define what success looks like and define the inputs. One of the hardest parts for us too is the autonomy piece. If you're telling somebody, here are the resources available to you, here's what the output looks like, but then you sit there and you look over their shoulder and you help them tweak every little step of the way, they're going to take their hands off the wheel. You're driving now, they're not, which is just another form of dumping. You're kind of putting the task on them, but you're not giving them the opportunity to take it and to run with it. So now they have the responsibility of the task in a way, because you've assigned them the task, and so they'll more or less be blamed for it if they don't execute or complete, but they don't have the autonomy to finish the task to completion because they need you there to micromanage it. In order to effectively delegate, we can't dump. You can't just push things onto people's plates. And what's frustrating about this is, as often as not, especially when you just get started, it takes more time to delegate something than it would for you to do it yourself. So if you think that early stage delegation is a time-saving exercise, it's not, and it can't be. Because if you're going to delegate a 30-minute project, it's probably going to take you an hour and a half to explain the inputs and the outputs. And then when somebody brings the project back, massage your inputs and outputs for further optimization. If you're using delegation as an early stage time-saving mechanism, I assume you're just dumping tasks on people. And dumping is setting them up for failure and putting you in a position where you think delegation doesn't necessarily work. For those of you that have struggled with delegation in the past, what I'd ask you to do is, one, effective delegation presumes that you have somebody effective to delegate to. So if you're delegating to somebody who's not a believable party, that doesn't mean they're a dummy. That just means that maybe they're not the person who should be doing this job. You need to make sure you're choosing the right person to delegate to. Once you choose the right person to delegate to, remember those three things. You need a well-defined input, well-defined output, and you need to take your hands off after that and allow them some level of autonomy. And when you do this, magic happens. Unbelievable. Authorship creates ownership. You really let people shine. You put people in a position of showing you what it is that they're capable of. It's amazing. I've built 6 million and multi-million-dollar businesses almost entirely relying on other people. I built the #1 ranked Google Ads agency in the world. I've never run a Google ad campaign end-to-end in my life. We had the highest performing real estate investment campaign on the planet before I knew how to do lead generation or real estate investment. I have the largest Montessori community in the English-speaking world. I'm not a trained Montessorian. I don't own a Montessori school. I'm able to accomplish all these things through effective delegation. It's hard, it's frustrating, it's tedious, it's important. And I think it's the most important skill for you to learn. If you're getting the wrong outputs, chances are you're probably dumping, not delegating.